So if you're listening to us and that's all you're doing is just listening to us and you're not actually practicing what we're trying to preach, then go do it.
Welcome to Learn With Us, brought to you by 303andU. We are a team of 4 non-financial advisors who are exploring a revolutionary new financial approach that goes beyond money to prioritize your emotional, mental, and spiritual well-being. Through weekly meetings and engaging podcasts, we strive to help you improve all aspects of your well-being as well as ours. Come join us on this journey of growth and self-improvement because at 303andU, we believe true wealth extends beyond dollars and cents. Happy learning!
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Learn With Us, brought to you by 303andU. Doing the compound effect by
Darren Hardy.
Well, that's a good place to start. You guys haven't personally read the book yet, have you?
Nope.
No,
not
I've
yet.
heard of that book though. Have we talked about that book before? Because I've definitely heard about the book
mentioned it.
before.
It's one that I like.
Yeah, he's mentioned it.
It's one of the first books I read by myself that made me want to continue to research more. We're doing the audiobook this time. Well, we're getting the book, but it's in the library, so we have to wait a couple days till they get it from the other. But
Yeah.
it's cool
other
because
branch.
it's actually him reading it, so there's a lot of passion and joy, and you can like hear it in the words, and he motivates you, I guess. Best way to put it.
Audible?
Yeah, and he's super successful.
Brought to you by Audible.
I don't know any. Yeah, I didn't know much about him before, but
I don't know anything. I wrote down a couple notes saying that he talks about himself and how what he learned from his father. And I know that he already has all of his finances like well in a row.
Is he older now, or was he young when he wrote the book?
I'm not really sure when he wrote the book, but he was ready since a child. He actually started. His dad was always really strict on him. That's how he got this mindset of where everything you do in your life leads to later on effects. We call like the ripple effect.
And it doesn't even happen in like 6 months. It takes like years.
No, that was something cool that we had on our last little talk. We're all saying that a lot of people we feel like don't invest due to not the instant gratification, and he agrees that that's a major role that everything you do, people want. If they're losing weight, from working out, they want 10 pounds the first day. If it doesn't work, then I'm done working out. If I'm investing, it's been a year, I only made $10, that's not enough. I'm over this. They don't see the power of.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, people don't stick to things for long term to see the actual effect that it will have on you. He also talked about, thought it was interesting about the compound effect of negative habits, which I hadn't really thought about before.
His was what, eating? The guy
It
gets
started with
cooking sweets just because he thought it'd be a fun new habit.
Yeah, but it started with literally like 1 or 2, like 145 extra calories a day or something. Like one.
From stealing,
Did he
from like
gain a lot of
eating an
weight?
extra muffin every day because he made them. And then
But
over,
the ripple effect over, I think it ended up the story. It's like 31 months later, finally, something changes between these in the story. There's 3 different guys, and there's 3 different versions of them. And at 31 months, you can start to see changes in them. And that guy, it says, his life just keeps getting worse without his knowledge. He's become overweight. He's depressed. It's just like it just piles.
no, that's what I was trying to say.
His
is
kids
that
are
it
his
added
kids
in.
are unhealthy and lazy, and he doesn't like his job, and it all stems from he doesn't exercise, and all of these things matter compared to there was a guy who did the complete opposite, and he stopped eating 145 calories. Like he cut 145 calories out of his diet, and it says his name was Scott. It says Scott is thriving. That's what I wrote down. So he's literally the opposite. And then there's a guy in the middle named Larry who is basically the same and hasn't really changed good or bad and is just kind of like stuck in this limbo era. And he says, please don't be a Larry.
He said that's the worst one, actually, because
He's-
you don't have enough drive from being poor to motivate you to work harder. So your goal is always just right outside your reach, and you never care enough to grab it. I was like, wow.
That's what Pink Floyd describes as comfortably numb.
Yeah.
No, that's
There you
literally-
go.
Unfortunate. Wow, no, that's deep. I can hear the song playing right now, and it's like blowing my mind.
He goes over something called the microwave mentality, but it talks about people who think that they're going to win the lottery, and how actually your chances of winning the lottery are never. You're not going to. Stop thinking you even have a chance. It's basically what he said. But
Well, that's because the microwave mentality is like with the whole generation that you grow up and you just grab something out of the cupboard and throw it in the microwave. Your money is something you can just
right,
press
instant.
a few buttons and
Yeah.
boom, thousands of dollars are going to pour out.
Right, but real success of things takes time. It doesn't. You can't have things overnight.
Wait, so what's the microwave effect?
Oh,
Like,
the
kinda
mentality. Anyways,
It's
instantly?
like fast, cooks fast.
Like wanting it instantly.
Instead
Yeah.
of cooking a
Within
whole
few
meal,
minutes.
that takes 5 hours, you're microwaving a pot pie.
in a
Takes
minute.
2 minutes.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's again like with the instant gratification. Like if you can't.
That's
You want your gratification short term, or I mean like quickly.
Yes.
that starts really young. I think it's like 3 or 4 when you involuntarily go for the instant gratification options, because they've done studies to kids and virtually all kids go for the instant gratification. Like if you put, let's say, candy in front of them, so you put 2 M&Ms in front of them and you tell them, if you wait 1 minute, I'll give you 4 M&Ms, and then they eat the 2 M&Ms. They just all eat them and then lie about it too. It's
Kids.
So that reminds me, he tells a story. It's called the Magic Penny Story. I don't know if you've ever heard about it,
I feel like we've gone over in another book the same idea at least.
but
Is this where the penny compounds?
yes,
Yeah.
yeah. So if you ask somebody if they want
3 mil.
$3 million in cash right now or 1 penny,
That multiplies for 31 days.
that multiplies for 31 days, people will take the $3 million every time. But if you actually do the math on it, the penny turns into over $10 million in 31 days.
On the last day. That was the
On the
most
last day.
important part, is that the
You
whole time you look like you've lost. You
Yeah.
know? Your day 20, you got like 7,000. They still had the 3 mil.
They're still spending the 3 million. So you're like, oh, I picked the wrong one. But the very last day, it finally compounds and blows you out
It
of the
gets
water.
to 4 point something and then
Yeah.
right to 10.
Oh, I was going to say this fun fact. He said that it would take so people who play the lottery, like if you're going to win or buy a Mega Millions, let's say the drawing is like on whatever night it's on, that type of lottery. On average, so one person's going to win that, right? And however many millions of people are going to buy tickets. It would take 9 years for every single person to say, I lost at 30 seconds apiece on like for a commercial. I lost the lottery. It would take 9 years and that's for one drawing. So that's how many people buy a ticket and lose. It would take you over 9 years at 30 seconds each. Like, I don't even know how many people is that.
that's crazy.
Like that, I would never buy another lottery ticket again. That's so ridiculous.
Oh, finally you see.
9 years for one drawing, maybe for like all the drawings. He said one drawing, I almost threw up.
When I was in, well, I don't know, I remember when, but basically the joke was, it's more likely that you'll get abducted by aliens than win the lottery.
I don't know. Nowadays it's probably...
Wow. Let's see. Knowledge is power. That's not a true statement. Not according to this guy.
No, he said knowledge is potential power, which I love too.
Yeah, I totally loved that.
I feel like Juan would have enjoyed that.
He says basically it's like electricity in the light switch, and it doesn't do you any good if you don't flip the switch on.
Like, reading books all day does absolutely nothing
Yeah.
if you don't ever put them to practical use.
So if you're listening to us, and that's all you're doing is just listening to us, and you're not actually practicing what we're trying to preach, then go do it. I was yelling at somebody at work earlier in a very nice way. Download Stash. Do it. Don't waste time. I say it to everybody randomly all the time. Strangers, everybody. They're like, what? I'm like, just do it. Are you investing? They're like, what?
Are you working so you can buy your freedom?
No, Amanda
That's the literal question.
explained it to the kid, and he literally was like, "Wait, you're saying I could have like potentially $3 million?" And she like showed him the numbers and how it all works, and he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna start listening to you guys." We're like, "Oh."
I was like, sweet, I got one. I was like, nobody listens
Yep.
to me.
Is he where you work?
Yeah. He's a nice kid. I was like, you're young enough. I was like, you're young enough to do this the right way. I was like, do it.
You're like, welcome to the Church of Finance.
Yeah.
We're freedom fighters if you read the last book.
Freedom fighter. Financial freedom fighters.
That's cheesy.
It is. Triple F. He said, oh, yeah, I wrote that down.
No, I like it.
Success can blind your vision. Oh, I made that up.
Oh.
I was just
Oh, I
making
thought that
notes.
was a quote.
No.
Great quote. Well, then say bye, Amanda.
I was saying, you don't get distracted or lazy when you start getting what you want, basically, is what I got from what he was saying. Was like, once you actually start gaining, don't take a vacation, don't make a purchase that's not necessary. Don't do that yet. Just keep going at it. Otherwise, you'll fall behind. Like, it's not time yet. Stay focused. One guy said, I think it was just some YouTube video I was watching today, actually. It wasn't even in this book, but it took him, he decided he was going to like start this homestead or go retire. And he said, make a plan. And then he said it took him 8 years to actually get to it. And the only way that he kept motivated that whole time was by like watching videos of it, taking vacations there, which, I mean, I guess that goes against what I just said about don't take vacations, but figure out a way to keep yourself motivated and happy while you're doing it.
No, that makes sense. If your goal is to move to a new state, but you know you can't afford it for 5 years, take a trip once a
year.
That'd
Yeah.
be cool to go visit the spot or whatever.
to keep
you
yourself-
keep trying to buy.
To keep yourself going. That's all. Like,
That's different than a vacation.
The actual secret is in your mindset, though, because if you don't have the right mindset, the vacation will be wasted. So the idea is to have a positive mindset, because having a positive mindset, then whenever you encounter problems, you don't see them as problems, you just see them as like, it's cheesy, but your brain just goes into finding solutions rather than adopting a pessimistic approach. So you don't go and see, oh, I'm defeated, this sucks, blah 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 blah. Instead, you go, oh, I can fix this because I'm Superman, and then you fix it. So that's how the mindset is actually more important than really everything.
That's literally this whole book, and you haven't even read it. But no, that's what he says too, is that it's the negative thoughts that you put in will affect everything you do. You like it unmotivates you.
Yeah.
Just as much as
Yeah.
you could motivate yourself.
Yeah, exactly. It unmotivates you.
It's
Now there is something good though. It's that the half-life of a negative thought is shorter than the half-life of a positive thought. So the positive thought is going to stay longer than the negative. So
Oh.
that's it's like
That makes sense.
it's
No,
like
that's-
pain and happiness.
That's like that video I sent you earlier about kids when they feel pain. It's like there was,
of the experience.
if you let them experience and express it all the way through from beginning to end, then they're done with it. They're over it. It doesn't bother them anymore. It's like an actual cycle. And I was really
and it's shorter.
yeah, it's short. Yeah, and they don't
And
hold
shorter
on
than
to it, and it
happiness.
doesn't resurface later on because they actually felt the whole thing, and now they're done. They're over it.
That makes me wonder with the gratification, is that why you have a shorter like mindset? Is because it keeps getting, it's always negative. So you're quicker to give up because of it not producing any joy.
Maybe.
You have a shorter tolerance.
Well, that's why
No, that's to
that's
go
why
with his book.
it goes with, you can't get distracted or lazy with your thoughts. You have to stay positive. You have to motivate yourself. You have to encourage yourself every day to keep going and why? Otherwise you will get lazy and you will give up.
You need to quit worrying about tomorrow. Like everything's gonna happen tomorrow, I guess. Like,
Yeah, no, that's
I don't know how
not
to put it in
realistic.
words.
And to have that mindset, you're just gonna continually disappoint yourself over and over again, which you eventually, I feel like, will just make you quit.
On anything. I mean,
on anything.
I was thinking about weight loss the whole time.
So
even though this is
that's why you
could
make
be
a
for
plan,
finances.
a realistic plan, and you say this might take me a few years, but this is what I'm going to do in the meantime, and this is how I'm going to get there, and this is why.
I feel like we say that every week.
I feel like I say that to you every day.
Could it be that it would be more actionable if you included asking experts rather than trying to figure it out by yourself? You ask people who know, like, I don't know, not necessarily
That's why you're
literally.
reading books, though, right?
Not
Because in a
necessar-
way, you're getting the information
Th-
from
that-
experts from the book.
That is true, but they don't always give you like the pragmatic approach to something. They're giving you more of the theme, the general truth behind subjects, but they're not telling.
No.
It's not like a manual. An expert will give you a manual. They will tell you, look, this is what I did that worked for me, and
Yeah.
this is how I did it, or this is what you should do. Or an expert would actually not even tell you how I did it. This is how it goes because
Yeah.
This
I'm
is
an
how
expert
you do it
so
to
I
fix
know.
your situation.
Yeah, because it's
You know what I'm saying? Like advisors.
I know what you
going
mean.
back
Like
to
it's
the
easier said
advisors
than
part.
done. Like this guy's telling us to do it, and he's giving us great ideas, but he's not actually. I don't know. So far, he hasn't actually told me how to not, be a negative person. Like he says it, but like those are just words.
Instead of saying, you should be saving this much, an advisor would be like, you literally can save $50,
Yeah.
know, 'cause
So-
they
so
see
I
the
agree with-
numbers,
Exactly. Yeah. Or a personal trainer will tell you these are the exercises you need to do.
that will fix those muscles.
So depending on what you're looking at for, I definitely agree with that. Maybe you should, if you need to or you want to, definitely seek advice.
It also adds accountability.
Not even maybe. I mean, you really should.
It also doesn't even have to
Oh,
be
yeah.
professional or paid advice. I mean, you might have parents or grandparents that are older than you and intelligent. Like, you never know. Like, seek advice from anyone.
Well, you get advice from people that know information on the topic you're wanting to learn about. Not your grandmother if she doesn't know
Right.
what she's doing.
Right.
Yeah, your grandmother's trying to teach you about tractors,
No, but if you're trying to learn how to sell, because you want
She
to
might
start
know
a,
what to do.
a little like side business, then maybe your grandma is the person to go to. Whatever you're into.
The thing is that all of our lives, when you think about it, all of the learning that you did, like when you were specifically learning, you never did it on your own. It was always with the help of somebody else, either your teachers or your trainers or your classmates. Personally, what happened at one point, I said to myself, hey man, now I'm an adult. I can do anything I want. And I stopped asking for advice. And that was literally the worst thing that I could have done, because at that point, my learning didn't completely become stagnant. But I mean, it was, if it was exponential, then it was maybe linear. It became linear maybe. So that's a mistake. And it's something that nobody really talks about. But except for when you start talking to people who are like the best at what they do, like NFL players, NBA players, NHL players, scientists.
Because there is no one to.
Well, if you ask them, they'll tell you.
There's no one at their level.
Well, no. My point is different. What happens is that if you ask them, then they will tell you, and they will know it for a fact, that nobody makes it to the top alone. That you need people to rely on that will actually guide you. But us, people that are not at the top, who are not excellent, we don't think about that because probably we don't even know it. We forgot about the fact that at no point throughout our learning experience were we truly actually on our own. We always had help, and it's because it's the most important thing about being human. Without help, you're not going to do anything. So it's just stop trying to do this on your own.
I guess it makes me think of like medieval times where you could never be like, there was no one who just like randomly became the best blacksmith. It was always,
Your
you
guild,
were the apprentice of Sir whoever, and he was a master at his art, and everybody knows that. So that's how you become
And
one of
it's
the best.
exactly like that on excellence. If you're around excellence, that's how it works. It's about a mentor and the apprentice, the advice giver and the advice seeker. It's axiomatic. You cannot deny the fact that nobody makes it to the top alone. Nobody. It's like the fact that it's like gravity.
I guess it makes me think of this, that I always say to people, like, I've been doing this for 30 years, and I'm like, that doesn't mean you've been doing it right. Like, because they're all,
That's true.
you know, without being properly trained, and just because you're experienced doesn't mean that you're doing it the best way possible.
Have you always been like, I'm
That
not
reminds me of
listening to
some
you,
people.
I'm doing it my way because I know how to do it? It's like, well,
Perpetuating bad habits.
I've worked with some people like that before who I've been doing this job for 30 plus years. I'm going to do it the way I want. And if you would look at them, they're the worst one. They're horrible.
Slow or doing it the hardest way possible.
Slow, rude. Like there's
a new machine for that.
there's so many things. I'm like, wow. So yeah,
No, it goes with the compound
experience
effect. Though,
doesn't
that
mean necessarily good.
if you're not adding in the new experiences, then you get stuck in that old wave, as he was saying.
Yeah. Well, that goes back with our previous comments again. Just don't take everybody's advice. Be careful. I like actions speak louder than words. I think if you apply that to a lot of things, it helps a lot make a decision.
Well, even people, if they're always telling you you should be, oh yeah, exercise is good for you, and you've never once
Remember
watched
that
them
one
do
kid
it.
who was like, "Oh, I'm gonna be rich someday. I'm gonna be rich someday," and then like 2 days later,
Lost
he
his job
got
2
fired
days.
and lost his job and ended up like having like
Going to a
horrible like
mental
mental
institute.
issues and like I'm so sorry, but like that's what I'm saying. Like all talk, like
We never
actions
once
speak
told
louder than
people that
words.
we're gonna be rich one day. Like we don't say it. We want to live it.
Yeah. He said in the next chapter, we learn the one thing that is the reason we are where we are in our life.
Oh, where are we at?
Like everybody has their reason on why you are exactly where you are, and I don't know what that is because I didn't skip ahead and listen, but I guess there's a
Childhood
reason.
trauma?
I don't know. I didn't skip ahead.
I don't want to say it's trauma,
We
but I
could
bet
guess.
it's childhood
Mm-hmm.
behaviors that have
Oh, why? Did you already
compounded.
listen?
No, I'm just saying.
Oh, you're
I believe
guessing?
what Juan's saying, but I don't think it's gonna be traumas. But I feel like it's
childhood habits.
No, I
It's
want to say
going to
that
be
word.
the
word.
lessons that
The-
you learned in your
That
childhood.
childhood.
Bad habits. Yeah.
Yeah, habits
There,
that you
what
develop
Alita's trying to say.
when you were-
It's a good guess. I don't know
Dude,
yet.
so the best exercise you can do for controlling your thoughts is prayer or meditation. Just an FYI. So if you are if you're a theist, then praying, if you do praying, like not just repeating what other people say, but more of like you're trying to talk to whoever your God is, then that helps. And then if you're not a theist, meditation is just as helpful, at least physiologically. And
What is like? Do you mean by like just sitting there and humming?
that's a great question,
Like,
dude.
I'm not like trying to pick on it.
No,
but
that's a great
I
question.
don't.
So it's perfect that you asked that, because so meditation, I'm not an expert, but I can safely say that meditation is basically the exercise of guiding your thoughts, and the way that you do it is by focusing on your breathing. So through meditation, you learn how to guide your thoughts. Another way to say control your thoughts, but it's more like a guiding, because you're never actually in complete control. You're guiding them. And then the way that you guide them is through breathing. So when you combine both, then, that's why it looks like you're only doing sitting down. But it's important because you can meditate while running, for example, while doing you can be doing anything and meditate at the same time. I can go more in depth.
I have this really cool breathing necklace that goes along with what you're saying, and they say that you can use it for meditation, and it's for anxiety, and it's just like this little metal cylinder thing that you breathe, suck air in, and
that's true.
blow air out of. And when I use it, like after a few times, it does work. I feel so relaxed. It's like, because it just teaches you how to actually inhale and exhale correctly, because it says nobody ever actually takes a breath the correct way, and breathing the right way and oxygen the right way in your body matters. So if you learn to breathe correctly, which goes along with meditation, it totally helps. And it works for my necklace.
You legit quit smoking because of that thing.
I quit using my vape pen because of that thing.
All right, everybody. That's going to do it for this week. But we have a little bonus content where we got rambling. So if you want to stick around and listen, I recommend it. It's really good. It's a proper way to meditate with Juan and just some final thoughts and nothing really to do with the book. But for those of you who are leaving, see you next week. Bye. We're coming back for chapter 2, the full chapter, Compound Effect by Darren Hardy.
See you later.
See you then. Bye.
Bye. Have a good week.
If you're interested, I actually know the technique that professional Shaolin monks use to teach the kids how to meditate.
Maybe we could do an episode on
I
that.
was going to say, I wonder, we could do like a little
No,
bonus.
it's like 2 minutes.
Oh,
It's
that's
like
it?
2 minutes.
Well, let's hear
Yeah,
it.
it's
If-
super cool.
If we don't
'cause-
like it, we'll...
So the idea is that, okay, so as we established, meditation was the guiding of your thoughts, and then you do that through breathing. So the very first exercise that you're going to do is that you're going to name the part of your mind, the part of your brain, let's call it mind, that has all these intrusive thoughts like television, music, dinner, breakfast, the clothes, what I have to do tomorrow, everything but my breathing, your worries, your concerns. You're going to call those the monkey brain. So that's the monkey brain. The person who's controlling the breathing is going to be you. So it's you and the monkey brain. And then you're going to establish that differentiation because you're going to try to establish a relationship between both of them. Now, the idea is that, let's say if you have a monkey, like a pet, you want to make sure that your pet likes you, doesn't hate you. And the way that you make that your pet likes you is by giving it what it needs. Sometimes what it wants, but not always, just sometimes. So what you're going to do with your monkey brain is that you're going to tell it, look, bro, you need to focus. And the way that I'm going to tell you how to focus is by using our breathing. There we go to the tool, which is the breath. And we're going to do this by just focusing on the breathing. And then we're going to go breathe in and then breathe out. And then when you start having thoughts that are not about breathing in and breathing out, you're going to say, whoa, monkey brain. We can think about that after we're done breathing. And then you go back to breathing in, breathing out. And then every time that you have an intrusive thought, it's very important that you name it. Monkey brain, we're breathing right now. And then you have that relationship within the exercise. And then you can do that for a minute, 30 seconds. It doesn't have to be at 30 minutes. It can literally be a minute or 30 seconds. As long as you do that differentiation so that you can then establish the correct relationship between you and your thoughts, you're doing it okay. And that's basically it. And then you can extend that to 20 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever long it is.
So
that
you're
it takes
not
you
really
to
supposed
reach
to think
enlightenment.
about anything? You're supposed to
That's right. It's not about that. It's not about not thinking about anything. It's about
just breathing.
thinking about one thing, controlling what you're thinking, not letting your brain think about whatever it wants. It's about control or guiding in this case.
Oh.
I think I really like that because it points out the fact that you are you and your thoughts are your thoughts. And a lot of times people get judged or whatever you want to call it for their thoughts, or you can even judge yourself for your thoughts. But they're not really. That's not really you. It's just a temporary.
That's a good
whatever.
point. Yeah, because your thoughts change.
Yeah, right. So to actually understand that, that they're two separate. I really like that way, the way that
You
goes.
do always apologize for your thoughts. You're like, oh, that's a horrible thing to think about.
Yeah, because
But if you think about it, you're not really. That's
well,
your
you
monkey
can't.
brain.
I guess you can't help sometimes what happens or what comes into you, but you don't have to accept it. I guess. I like that.
Wow.
Related to what you just said, and this is maybe, well, this is going to be something for you to think about, because if it is true that you are not your thoughts, then when someone criticizes your thoughts, then you should not be you shouldn't take it
Offended?
personal.
Absolutely.
Yeah, offended.
That was from the last book that I read by myself. Absolutely. Things that people do to you, that's not your fault. That's on them. Don't take anything personally. It's like rule number 3 is don't take anything personally.
It's their own expression.
Everything that people do to you or say to you it's more about them than actually you.
No, but
Jeez,
let's say
we're getting
someone
deep
comes
tonight.
and let's say someone comes and they start talking bad about, I don't know, something that you really believe in, like Christianity, or the way you're doing finances,
Mm-hmm.
or the way you go to church.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's hard not to take those things personal, but
It is
according to
hard.
what you said, we shouldn't. You know?
No.
Because it's probably them who aren't going to church or dealing with their finances or
Yeah, there's something
whatever
else
the problem
going on
is.
with them personally that is making them be upset by you at all in the first place.
I just don't know. We got so on the feels tonight, but seems to be a.
Do you think there's a difference? Like, well, clear. I mean, obviously there's one in the approach, but in the outcome, because let's take what we're both saying. So, I'm saying that if it's true that you are not your thoughts, then if somebody comes and talks trash about what's something that I really like, math, or my intelligence, then I should not take it personal, because I am not my thoughts, right?
Right.
And I'm in control of that. Okay, now the difference between that approach and then saying, oh, this person is coming and then they're criticizing my intelligence, but that's because they have their problems and they have something that they need to deal with. There's nothing wrong with me in this case. See how that could lead me to believe that? But if I
Almost
stick to the
smug.
first approach, yeah, but then if I stick to the first approach, it stays in me. Like, I am...
So my response to that is that you haven't pointed out that when this person comes at you or insults you in some way, that they're not their thoughts either. Like, just because they said it, if that makes sense.
But it's still their actions. I don't know. I
Correct.
feel like it's still them in a way, because it's their actions. They chose to do it.
And
They
you
weren't
are
just
your
thinking it.
actions. Actions speak louder than words.
But then
But
how is
the
it?
thing,
But then how is it okay
You
that
can
I
allow
turn around
your
and
thoughts to
apologize?
control you, though, right?
Not control,
your
but
thoughts to
sometimes
control
you
you.
could have a thought and you could say something without actually thinking about the consequences of it, and then realize that you didn't mean it. And if somebody were to judge you on that and not realize that maybe you were just having a bad day, or maybe somebody lashed out at you and so that's why you did it, like, you should just have compassion too. I don't know. I guess maybe it's a situational thing. I'm not sure. I just don't feel like it's black or white, I guess.
Everything's situational.
I just don't feel like it's black or white.
Well, not really. Never mind. I just was like, wow, we kind of started going down a...
Oh, it's more like we did the book in the first half, and then we had a little bit of a speech spiel. I don't know.
I think it started with the monk therapy.
All right, everyone. That's going to do it for this week. We'll come back.
You're not very good at closing.
Bye.
I don't know. It's just like, okay, bye. I guess if nobody else has any
that's gonna
other
lead
comments
us
for...
to the end of our conclusion.
I guess if nobody has anything else to say for
We'll see you
this
next
episode, it
week.
sounds like a plan. We've all said it. Okay, bye.
See you later, alligator.
What happened? We're
You're
doing.
using all of that.
We're using part 2. Oh yeah, this book's weird. It's chapters, but it's also got chapters inside the chapters.
Yeah, it's like 6 parts. It's like 6 parts. No, 6 chapters, but then like 5
It's called
parts in
chapters.
each one.
What a try hard.
Maybe the end should be scripted at the beginning.
All right, everyone, come back next
That might
week
sound
for
better.
chapter 2, choices.
See you later.
See you then. Bye.
Bye. Have a good week.
Thank you for joining us this week. We hope you've enjoyed our discussion and found it both informative and entertaining. Please stay connected with us and continue the conversation on our social media. You can follow us on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok. You can also catch us on most podcast platforms and catch up on previous episodes. If you have any suggestions or topics you'd like us to explore in the future, we'd love to hear from you, and you can reach out to us via email at 303nu@gmail.com. Don't forget to leave us a review and share the podcast with your friends and family if you've enjoyed what you've heard. We will be back next week with more engaging topics and insightful conversations. Until then, take care, stay curious, and happy learning.